We want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, and salute to all the brothers and sisters that are scattered across the four corners, spreading this truth, man, with sincerity. Uh, we want to talk about the tongue, man. We want to talk about the tongue, man, and how deal with some camp ethics and how we should control the tongue when we out there trying to gather these sheep, man. We're gonna go to Sirach chapter 20, verse 1. There is a reproof that is not calmly again. Some man holdeth his tongue and he is wise. But there is a reproof that is not calmly. There is a reproof that is not calmly. And some man holdeth his tongue and he is wise. So sometimes you got to be able to hold your tongue and be wise, man. There is a reproof. There is a rebuke that is not calmly. That doesn't have that is unruly, man. It's an ugly reproof. There's an ugly reproof. And again, some man holdeth his tongue and he is wise. Let's go to Sirach 23, verse 9 through 15. Accustom not thy mouth to swearing, neither use thyself to the naming of the Holy One. That's a cut too. For as a servant that is continually beaten should not be without a blue mark, so he that sweareth in name of God continually should not be faultless. A man that useth much swearing shall be filled with iniquity, and the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sin shall be upon him. And if he acknowledge not his sin, he make of a double offense. And if he swear in vain, he shall not be innocent, but his house shall be full of calamities. There is a word that, this is what I want to deal with, verse 12. There is a word that is clothed about with death. There was a word that is clothed about with death. God grant that it be not found in the heritage of Jacob. For all such things shall be far from the godly, man. So you don't want to have that word. You don't want to have that word that is clothed with death. You don't want to be speaking those kind of words, man. You don't want to be speaking those kind of words. You don't want to be out there cursing people. You know what I'm saying? Telling people, you know what I'm saying, certain things gonna happen to them, da 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 woo 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 woo. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be cursing people and blessing people with the same tongue. There is a word that is clothed about with death. God grant that it be not found in the heritage of Jacob. For all such things should be far from the godly, man. That kind of speech should be far from the godly, and they shall not wallow in their sins. Use not thy mouth to intemperate swearing. You can't let your temper get the best of you. Intemperate swearing, right? For therein is the word of sin. Remember thy father and thy mother when thou sittest amongst great men. Remember thy father and thy mother, man, when you sitting around great men, or when you sitting around the elders. You know, you got a different tongue. You got a different speech when you talking to elders, when you talking to your mother and your father, when you talking to people that you respect. You need to use that kind of tongue too out there when we dealing with camps and we out there trying to teach the people. Remember thy father and thy mother when thou sittest among great men. Be not forgetful before them, and so thou by thy custom become a fool, in which that thou hast not been born, and cursed the day of thy nativity. The man that is accustomed to opprobrious words will never be reformed all the days of his life. Now you look up that word opprobrious, it means, like, you know what I'm saying, like cuss words and words, you know, harsh words of reproof, you know what I'm saying? But mostly, you know what I'm saying, what we call cuss words, you know what I'm saying, and degrading words. Look up that word, opprobrious. Opprobrious. Words will never be reformed. Those who use those kind of words will never be reformed all the days of his life, man. And we know we are brothers that can be reformed. Huh? Let's go to Proverbs 15, verse 1. I need to run through these things. Proverbs 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words store up anger. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of the fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. A wholesome tongue, a healing tongue, that's what that wholesome means. A wholesome tongue, a healing tongue, is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach of the spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? Perverseness in thy tongue is a breach of the spirit. That means the spirit has been infiltrated, man. That means those levees have broken and iniquity has breached, has went into that spirit, right? There's been a breach in the spirit. Let's go to Colossians 3:8. And we're gonna deal with Colossians 3:8 and 4:6. Colossians chapter 3 verse 8. But now ye also put off these things. This is about you know what I'm saying, mortifying the flesh and putting off the old man and becoming a new man. But now you also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. You shouldn't be dealing with filthy communication, man. You shouldn't be having filthy communication once you put off that old man. That's the old man. That filthy communication comes from the old man. Let's go to verse 4, verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. You gotta have your speech, your speech should be always with grace and seasoned with that salt, man. Give me Titus 2 verse 6. You go Titus 2:6, man. Let me make sure I don't bend up my sword. Young men, likewise exhort to be sober-minded, in all things showing thyself a pattern of good works, in doctrine showing uncorruptness. Your doctrine need to be uncorruptible. You should be able to. Your doctrine should be able to hold up against any other doctrine. You should be proud about it. And that's a little off topic there. But young men, likewise, exhort to be sober-minded, in all things showing thyself a pattern of good works, and doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech. You know, we was talking about being sound-minded last week. And it was about having self-control, self-discipline. Your speech also has to be self-control. Your speech also has to be disciplined. Sound speech is a disciplined speech that cannot be condemned, and your speech won't be condemned. See, your speech being condemned is somebody walking by and saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that. You better than it. Y'all supposed to be prophets. Y'all shouldn't be speaking like that." That's somebody condemning your speech. They shouldn't be able to do that. They shouldn't be able to come back to us and be like, "Well, y'all shouldn't say that. Y'all out here talking da-da-da-da-da. Y'all out here calling females whores and sluts." You know, that's your speech. You should have a speech that is disciplined, that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say to you. Yeah, that was all I wanted on that. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4 verse 29. 4 verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. Your communication cannot be corrupt. It needs to be good to the use of edifying. Your communication need to be able to edify. Why would you be speaking something that won't edify anybody? That they're walking right past it. That they not gonna listen to it. Like your speech, your speech can't be corrupted to the point where people will just ignore it, man, because it's so corruptible. Right? That is so filthy. They're like, damn, then those can't be men of God speaking like that. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers, man. And that grace need to be that Titus 2:11 grace. It need to be that grace unto the hearer, that grace of salvation. Your words need to be healing. Them wholesome words like we was reading earlier. We're going to go to Ephesians chapter 5 verse 4. Neither filthiness nor foolish talking nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks, nor jesting. Jesting. We had a dude last week let this pass you by. He asked, can we tease? Can we tease them out here? Can we talk about them? Like, no, you can't be talking about nobody, period. You shouldn't be talking about, you shouldn't be gesturing, you shouldn't be janking, you shouldn't be joning, right? You shouldn't be talking about nobody, period. Let alone at camp. No gesturing. Let me go back to that. 54. Neither filthiness nor foolish talking nor gesturing, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks, man. That's what you need to be dealing with. The giving of thanks. We go back to, let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 19:14. Psalms 19:14. Psalms chapter 19, verse 14. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart, because out of the abundance of the heart speaketh the mouth. Let the words of my mouth and the abundance of my, I think that's Luke 6:45. Yeah, come on. Luke 6:45, Matthew 12:34. Out of the abundance of the heart speaketh the mouth. So let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Is that speech acceptable in the Most High sight? You be the judge of that, man. Examine thyself. Let's go to Matthew. It's gonna be a heavy hitter right here, right? Because we had an incident when we was on Glenwood. A brother was going in on the people washing cars, and another brother came in, was like, "Hey man, you know, you're going a little too hard on them. They, you know, they in captivity. They have to wash the cars. Saturday is a day. If you're gonna be washing cars, you're gonna have to wash them on Saturday. From sun up to sundown, you're going to have to wash cars. This is when people get their cars washed. They don't really get their cars washed no other day." So Matthew chapter 5, verse 22, "But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah," Rakah means empty-headed, right? Means fool, means dummy, means stupid. Whoever shall say Rakah, and this is Yahushua speaking. This is who the world knows as Jesus Christ. This is Yahushua speaking. These words are in red. "Whosoever shall say to his brother Rakah shall be in danger of the council." So you'll be in danger of the council. The council, your brothers are going to have to speak to you, and they're going to have to check you on it. And that's what happened last week. We had the brother, he got checked on it. Another brother was saying, "Hey man, you don't call them fools." But he didn't take the reproof. He kind of shoved it. I mean, you know, oh, shoot, man, they fools. I don't care, man. They fools, bro. But you can't be out there calling them fools, because they're in captivity, man. They not in a lot. They don't have a lot of control over that situation. They have to wash the car. They can't come over here and listen to you while they wash your cars. They're at work, man. Don't call them foolish. Now you can call the people fools who getting their cars washed and not listening. But don't call the people who have to wash the car. Don't call them foolish. They're at work, man. They can't come over here and listen. Yeah, you had a few of those brothers after the car wash. They came over, but not majority. Majority was like, man, listen to them brothers. They, you know what I'm saying? So don't do that, right? Rakah shall be in danger of the council. So he kind of got checked by the council. And this is why I'm making a video. This video is also checked up from the council. This is also coming in danger of the council. "But whosoever shall say thou fool shall be in danger of hellfire." And I'll let you sink on that. That was Matthew 5:22. Alright. We'll go back to Proverbs 12:18, and then we'll flip it on the other side, man. There's a few precepts on the other side, because, you know, it's hard teaching that truth out there, man, and not getting upset. Proverbs 12:18. "There is that speaketh life. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword." It'd be like, there is one that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. Again, the tongue of the wise is wholesome. That is health. That is that healing. That is that healing, man. The tongue of the wise is healing. Right? You're supposed to be healing these people, because some of these people can't take the rebuke. Some of these people are already like those women who are out there dressing like harlots, who are not out there dressing modestly. You know what I'm saying? That's because of low self-esteem. Their self-esteem is already low. They're already cut down low. What in the world? They already cut down low. Shalakia. They already cut down low, so you don't want to sit up there and cut them again. You got to build them up first. Build them up. Build them up to get you some space so you can cut them. And then sometimes you can talk to them and see and understand why do they have to dress like that? Why do you feel you need to dress like that, sister? Why would you come out with that? Right? And then, you know, build them up, and then you can cut them. Then you can try to get an understanding of why they doing that, and then we can try to fix it from there. Right? Let's go to James 3:15. James 3:5 through 12. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts of great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a word of iniquity. So the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and have been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessings and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doeth a fountain send forth the same place sweet water and bitter? Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a vine or figs. You're going to be vine or figs. So can no fountain both yield salt water or fresh water. You either going to have the healing or the cutting. Right? Let's go to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 11:2. Because these are some of the precepts to defend that. Now, I think it's countless precepts on how to control our tongue, man. And how dangerous the tongue is, and how deadly the tongue can be. 2 Corinthians verse 11, verse 6. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. Right? So though I be rude in speech, I'm not rude in knowledge. So sometimes there comes a time for us to be rude in speech. There's sometimes we're going to be rude in speech. But we have to examine those times, man, to make sure that it's a proper time for that, man. It's a proper place, a time and place for everything, man. We have to be better judges of that in my observation. Sirach chapter 19, verse 26. 19:16, Shalakia. There is one that slippeth in speech, but not from his heart. See what I'm saying? There is one that slippeth in speech, but not from his heart. See, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. But see, this is not from the heart. Those slippages in speech, let them not be from the heart. Make sure that they ain't coming from the heart. Make sure they ain't coming from an angry place. Make sure it's not intemperate speech. You can slip. The tongue slip. You say Shalakia. Because we get caught up in the spirit, and we're a little zealous, and sometimes we may slip in the tongue, we may slip in speech, but not from it don't come from the heart. Like again, that Luke 6:45, out of the abundance of the heart speaketh the mouth, right? But there is one that slippeth in his speech, but not from his heart. And who is he that have not offended with the tongue? And we've all offended with the tongue. This ain't directed at one person. This ain't directed at two people. This is directed at all people. We all have offended with the tongue. Let's just be more aware of the situation. Huh? All right, with that, we say Shalakia. All praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.